feeling lost in my relationship. Did everything just fall apart? My boyfriend M, 23, and I, F, 23, have been together for over 2 years and have known each other for 3. Our friendship started as something casual with a lot of hooking up. I had feelings for him from the beginning, but I didn't say anything because he had just gotten out of a bad breakup and was only open to something casual. I went along with it because I just wanted to be around him, even if it was only for hooking up. This phase lasted for about 4 to 5 months, and we only met a few times. Eventually, I told him I wanted more, but he wasn't ready for that. I decided to move on and focus on my plans to move to the US for my master's degree. However, after I moved, he started putting in more effort to talk to me, calling me regularly, and we grew closer. For the next 5 months, we spoke 2 to 3 times a week, and when I visited India for summer vacation, we met up. That's when he asked me to be his girlfriend, and I immediately said yes, because it was all I ever wanted. That summer, we spent a lot of time together, meeting almost every day, going on a trip with friends, and just enjoying each other's company. When summer ended, we both moved to the US for our masters, but we were in different states. We managed the long distance by meeting every couple of months. After a year, we went back to India together for summer break, and everything felt perfect. We celebrated our 1-year anniversary. He met my mom and cousins, and we went on a trip with his friends. On this trip, his ex, who's still a good friend of his, met up with us, and though I tried not to let it bother me, I couldn't help but feel insecure because she's very pretty and cute. We had a fight about it, but we patched things up and moved on. After returning to the US, we continued our long-distance relationship, meeting every 3 to 4 months. Things were mostly good, but the arguments started becoming more frequent. I admit that I might have taken him for granted sometimes. After finishing his master's, he moved to stay with me and my friends while we all looked for full-time jobs. I know job hunting is stressful, but after about a month and a half, we got into a silly argument that escalated, and I said I wanted to break up in the heat of the moment, even though I didn't mean it. To my surprise, he agreed. I thought we could talk it out after cooling off, but when I went to him later, he still wanted to break up. I was shocked and tried convincing him to stay, but he said he hadn't been happy in the relationship for the past year. I find that hard to believe because I never noticed any signs of unhappiness from him, especially since just a few months earlier, he stayed with me for winter break, met my family, and even discussed future plans with me. When he insisted on breaking up, I reacted badly and asked him to move out because it would be too painful for me to live together after a breakup, especially while I still wanted the relationship to work. After 2 days, I begged him to reconsider, but he kept saying no. At one point, I asked him to give me 6 months, the same time he's giving himself to find a job in the US before possibly moving back to India. I promised I would change and try to relieve any stress our relationship was causing him, so he could focus on job hunting and his mental health. Initially, he refused, but eventually he agreed to give it another shot. For the past month and a half, it felt like we were in a relationship again. We were still intimate, but I noticed he wasn't putting in much effort, and he would joke that we were just friends. Last weekend, I couldn't handle the uncertainty anymore and asked him if we were really trying to work things out. He said he needed 10 days to think about it, which I accepted, but later that same day, he casually said we were broken up. That triggered something in me, and I asked him if that meant we weren't trying anymore. He said yes. The whole point of asking for 6 months was to actually work on things and avoid labeling ourselves as friends or broken up because that would just make it easier for him to move on. After a lot of back and forth, he finally admitted he doesn't have feelings for me anymore and that he tried but just can't feel anything. His words crushed me, and I broke down. I kept asking for one more chance, and after a lot of pleading, he reluctantly agreed to give us the 6 months we originally talked about. What's confusing is that he's the kind of person I thought I'd end up with. We talked about our future together, planned our wedding, our apartment, and even traveling the world for the next 5 years. Now, everything seems to have changed out of nowhere. He recently got a final interview for a good job, and it feels like we're just waiting for him to get that job and move on. I don't know what to do. Should I hold on to the hope that we can fix things? Or am I just delaying the inevitable? Because I thought I can be without him, but now I feel like dying inside.